They can show that their new grouping of perimeter stars, which is obviously Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves, can fit together beautifully and be a competitive group, and they can share each other's load and also show that they can fit together. Because I don't necessarily, my expectation for the Lakers is that they will be at their best next year when they can make some transactions in the offseason, build up their size. In all honesty, if you look at the history of basketball, a team with this, weakness and depth issue inside has never really won at a high level. That's not to say that they can't, but they're fighting against reality of the sport right now. But if Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves can be so great together, they push the teams to the limit and maybe even get to the conference finals, then their future looks even brighter. And that's what I really think their realistic opportunity is. Okay. I know that there's a lot of people who are unrealistic, but I will say this. 2 years ago, they were in the play-in, and I would have been sitting here on this day saying, well, if they get to the playoffs, they're doing well. They made it to the conference finals. So underestimating LeBron has never been a good way to go forward in the playoffs. I
mean, we got to give credit where credit due. JJ was able to quiet the noise. They were able to get home court, so they have had some success this year. I don't know if anybody really was able to anticipate that. We didn't know what that was going to be. That was a huge question mark. So we have to give them that success, but I agree with you. They're going to struggle when it comes to points in the paint and going against those bigs. If you look at all the upper echelon teams, OKC has 2 bigs. Houston has 2 bigs. Denver has jokers. So if they ever have to see one of those teams along the line, they just can't compete with that.
Oh, and they knew that that was their deficiency when they went out and tried to get Mark Williams, and obviously that trade didn't come to fruition. We know what Luka Doncic prefers. They know that that's sort of the piece that they need. We'll see how far they can go with this roster. And by the way, coming out of the Anthony Edwards sound to then talk more Lakers is probably exactly what Ant-Man is talking about. Don't worry, we're going to get to Minnesota just coming up. I mean, the Heat and the Chicago Bulls here. Tyler Hero heard me say that the Bulls were 3-0 against them in the regular season, and he took that personally, UD.
I mean, he got it going from all 3 levels. I mean, when he's playing like that, all the other guys got to do is fall in line. You see him right here with the reverse pivot and the pull-up. Great defense, but better offense.
Closing minutes here of the second. Tyler Hero pulls up again, nails the step-back 3. He was cooking in the first half. What did you say, not all heroes wear capes, UD?
Not all heroes wear capes, baby goat.
Take a look at the shot chart here. He was a perfect 8 of 8 from the field, 3 of 3 from 3, 4 of 4 from the free throw line, 23 first half points. Udonis was here with us. You could hear him down the hall whooping and hollering at this game, UD.
Yeah, I mean, I understand these guys. I know they have one of the best coaches. Their coach was ready, their captain was ready in Bam, and their best player was ready in Tyler Hero.
Tyler Hero doing it on both ends of the floor here. And then we're going to show you this one more time. Going ahead to midway through the fourth here. This is just the finishing touches here.
Oh.
Sweet finish. 38 points, 13 of 19 from the field. When the Heat needed a hero, he was there. Here's Tyler after the
dancing.
game.
Just come out in attack mode. We had a couple days off since the last game. We really prepared the last couple days leading up to the night. Myself, my teammates, the coaching staff, we were putting a lot of work, and it paid off. We got one more to go. The job's not done. It's just to get into the playoffs. So we got a long way to go.
While the Heat scorched the Bulls, it was Dallas who dominated in the West play-in game. I said at halftime it felt like I was watching deja vu of the first game because it was nearly an identical score. But it was Klay Thompson who was exercising some demons in this play-in game, Brian.
We forgot about Klay Thompson because his season has been so traumatic for the Mavericks. Klay came to play games exactly like this, and you knew he was ready.
Forgot about Klay. Well, he was 0 of 10 in the play-in against this exact team last year, but didn't have Anthony Davis by his side to help him out here. Klay, AD, they had 24 points in the second quarter, and the Kings had just 19. Going ahead to the fourth quarter here, putting the finishing touches on this one. Thompson, look him here, cuts inside, hits a tough layup there. And then later in the fourth quarter here, it was Anthony Davis. Difficult catch through traffic, tough up and under layup there. He had 27 in this one, UD.
Yeah, he really came to play and lead the charge, and this is what we were talking about last night that we wanted to see from Anthony Davis. I tell you, this team has a lot of pride, and they got a chip on their shoulder.
And here's Klay Thompson on exercising those demons with SVP.
I know I didn't end my season last year so well in this same building, and I knew once I saw one go in and I got my feet under me, I was going to let it go until I missed. And luckily for me, I didn't miss that quarter, and I think that helped us separate and hold on to that lead, obviously, for the rest of the night. It did feel good to exercise those demons in here. Man, let me get out of here.
Well, then Then to the fallout from last night in Sacramento as the Mavericks move on. Shams reported less than an hour after the Kings were eliminated that Monty McNair is out as general manager of the Kings. And less than 12 hours later, Shams followed up with the news that longtime front office executive and former NBA Today analyst Scott Perry is in. So let's just take a look at the Kings timeline here, because it was just 2 years ago that the Kings, they were the biggest surprise in the NBA. They won 48 games behind their Beam Team moniker. And that season, Sacramento snapped a 16-year playoff drought behind Monty McNair. He won Executive of the Year. Mike Brown won Coach of the Year, and De'Aaron Fox was the Clutch Player of the Year. Now, all three are gone just 2 years later. So, Shams, peel back the curtain. What was the thinking behind this decision-making?
So, with Scott Perry coming in, he's been executive for 25 years in the NBA. He was actually in Sacramento in 2017 for a period of a few months, and then he went to the Knicks when James Dolan made him a big offer to go run that organization. The Kings feel very highly about his relationships, his ability, and he actually was in play potentially to go to New Orleans under Joe Dumars this week as well. So Joe Dumars gets the Pelicans job, potentially Scott Perry's in play there, but instead he goes to the Kings as GM. And clearly they've done a complete reset now in Sacramento. This is the direction Vivek Ranadive and that ownership group wants to go in. And Scott Perry's going to be the general manager. Doug Christie, their interim head coach, I'm told he's in pole position to be the head coach of this team, but there are still conversations. That's not a done deal quite yet. There are conversations that need to happen here over the next several days. Scott Perry needs to get involved once he's formally introduced, and those conversations will go on over the next few days. Yeah,
there's a whole lot of change happening for a Sacramento team that was the one to break that playoff curse and that playoff drought. What does all this change say to you, Brian, about the state of the franchise?
It's not a good organization. I mean, I wish Scott Perry the best. He's our former colleague, very strong executive. Domantas Sabonis gave his exit interview today. Yes. And they said, what do you need to do in the offseason? And he said, we need to get a point guard. They just had a franchise point guard.
That Scott Perry was there in the lead up to drafting.
That they let the relationship go south on. I'm sure everybody's got their story, but the relationship went south. They had the executive of the year. The relationship went south. He knew he was getting fired because they already had Scott Perry hired. He knew for weeks he was getting fired. His assistant, Wes Wilcox, left weeks ago to take another job when he was a big part of their rebuild. How many coaches did they go through in Sacramento over the last 17 years? They finally found a coach who put them on the right path in Mike Brown. They liked him so much they gave him a contract extension last summer, and they fired him 2 months into the season. This is the definition of why they have been a bagged organization for decades. And maybe this new alignment will work. Maybe Doug Christie will work. Maybe they will get another point guard. Just look what they did. I like Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan as people. I like them as players. They can be successful. They were very clearly a poor pairing in Chicago. It did not work. Not for 5 minutes over the course of years. The Bulls moved on from both. The Kings brought them in. They had an alignment that worked, and they imported a pairing that didn't work and is very expensive. They had it in front office that was working. They disenfranchised them and drove them out of town. What are we doing here? Okay, maybe it will work going forward, but why would you have faith in it? Why would you have faith?